Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, and welcome to another edition of the Pure Digital Passion Podcast with me, Moses Kemibaro. Today, I'm super excited to welcome Samsung and Loop into the room. We'll be having a conversation about the launch of the new S25 series here in Kenya. More importantly, we'll have a conversation around all the nuances and capabilities of these new devices, and also the financing options that Loop is making available so that you, me, and everyone in the market can actually get our hands on these incredible devices. We all know that the S24 last year did extremely well as a series, sold incredibly well in Kenya, and really looking at the next iteration of this device gives us a window into what Samsung is thinking about the future of AI, which was again made possible through Galaxy AI in 2024. So in my session today, we have our guests coming from both Samsung and Loop. Maybe we can start with you if you can introduce yourself.
Hello, everybody. My name is Evelyne Munene, and thank you very much, Moses, for having us here. The product and marketing lead of Samsung Electronics East Africa.
And maybe you can also introduce yourself.
Thanks, Moses, and thanks for having us. My name is Sheila Kimani, Chief Commercial Officer from Loop. Thank you.
So, ladies, last week we had the incredible Galaxy Unpacked event where we saw the unveiling of the new S25 series. Incredible devices. In fact, we have one here, the beautiful Ultra. And maybe we can start off with you, Evelyn. I'd like to maybe just get a picture of, thinking about where the Samsung business is in East Africa, also Kenya specifically. We attended Unpacked. What has happened in the past year or so since, we saw the last iteration of this device?
Well, Moses, it's been an exciting 1 year since we launched the first AI phone into the market. That's the S24 series, the first AI phone. It got quite good reception within the East African market. We're talking about 13 markets here. We have 3 different, flavors of the same. We had the Ultra, we had the Plus, we had the Base. And there was a lot of interest around what is this AI phone and what does it do for me? And we really got ahead in terms of the market share in this particular segment using S24. So it's been an exciting year, and we are yet to get to even better times for the user with the S25 series.
What about some of the performance metrics in the past year in terms of sales, uptake of these devices? Is there anything you can share with us from a Kenyan and East African perspective?
Yeah, absolutely. So we did get a 36% hike from our normal launches or flagship at this particular time with S24. And we're expecting almost similar response with the S25, given the improvements that we made with the device for S25 this year.
Great. Yeah. And I think for me, what was very, impressive, given that, the AI thing is now everywhere, is I think Samsung was the first brand out of the box with an AI-capable device. I used the Ultra myself for a number of weeks. Incredible capabilities, the circle to search. And more importantly, I think even as we speak, many of the other brands have not yet launched fully AI-capable devices. How is Samsung looking at, Galaxy AI and infusing AI into all its devices, especially given that the S24 series was essentially the first into that foray?
So at Samsung, one of the things that we've embraced in terms of innovation is being able to partner with industry leaders so that we're then able to bring the strengths of every industry leader into giving our consumers the best that there is for the device. I would say that working with Google, Gemini, and a few others, we've really been able to tap into looking at everyday use cases for AI, so that it's not just AI that's thrown into a phone and we call it an AI phone.
Yeah.
But what does it really do for you, right? Our market is very peculiar. The use of the camera is a big thing, and I would say basically around the world, camera capturing content. How is it working for you? The clarity of the same. What can you do to manipulate it so that it gives you the best of what it is? So I would say collaboration to bring most innovative phones to the market has been the key to ensuring that we stay ahead.
Great.
Yeah.
So we actually have right in front of us here. Let me just get it for you. This is the S25 Ultra.
Correct.
Maybe you can tell us a little bit about this device and what it's ushering into the market.
So this phone revolutionizes what it means to have an AI phone. With S24, we had things like circle to search. which is basically just that you'd hold on to your bottom button,
Yes.
and then just circle anything, and it's able to Google and give you information about this. Now, this takes it to another new level altogether. In the fact that the AI agents that are installed in this particular phone are multimodal, which means that you could circle, get the information, have it sent to your notes and saved there, or even sent to somebody via a text, which is to say it's a little bit more intuitive, giving you more steps in just a voice command or even a text command. It's able to do more than just one action. And if you were to just look at Circle to Search specifically, just a little bit more, with S24, you would search and it will give you almost every context around whatever it is that you search around. But with S25, you're able to even see things like a phone number. That is on a certain object that you have actually circled, and ask you whether you want to call that number.
Wow.
Right? So it's a step further from what it is that was there with S24.
But if I understand it correctly, one of the biggest shifts that's happening in 2025 is, I think, the rise of Agentic AI.
Yes.
So an AI that not only generates things,
Correct.
but actually creates or does things on your behalf. So I believe that's what you're describing in terms of what it can do, right?
That's absolutely right. So just trying to sort of give you or be intuitive enough to know what is the next step that you want out of the things that you're doing right now.
Great.
And then it has this personal data engine that is able to collect data around what are the habits that you have, what do you do when you wake up in the morning. And even better still, if you combine this with the ecosystem and you have your Samsung phone and buds, the level of learning that this AI agents then is able to collect is going to help you make your day even that much more enjoyable.
Fantastic.
So that then you're able to pick you say, how did you sleep? You're able to get a brief in the morning. You had 6 hours of sleep. They were all well. Your heart rate was at X. Maybe you need to go for a run. So very intuitive AI agents.
Fantastic. And I'm imagining a lot of this is happening in a secure environment, given that involves a lot of personal data, right?
Absolutely. So security is a big thing for us as well.
Yes.
So we have a whole security platform called Samsung Knox, and it ensures that any data that you have, even within your phone, is encrypted when it's being processed.
Yes.
So that you have the comfort that any data that you're picking around your routines and what it is your preferences are stays protected all the time. And then you have the option of where that data is also processed. You could decide that it's processed on cloud or it's processed on phone, and how long is it kept. All of that is available for you to actually, give the commands as to what it is that you want to do.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Obviously, these are wonderful devices. We know some of them come at a fairly high premium. And I think that's where Loop provides financing solutions and, more importantly, the buy now, pay later sort of concept. Maybe you can expand a little bit on that and how, Loop is working with Samsung in this context.
All right. Yeah. So thanks, Moses, for the question. I think it would be naive of me to assume that everyone knows who Loop is and what we do. So I think before I get into the partnership that we have with Samsung and how we're doing the device financing, it would be prudent for me to share who Loop is.
Okay.
So Loop is a lifestyle brand that we've actually anchored on finance. And basically, we're looking at how do we empower customers for them to be able to live effortlessly. Just to unpack it further is we have a wallet, which you're able to load money into, either from Momo, that being mobile money, or from your card directly from your bank account. And then from there, you can do payments. You can pay into bank accounts. You can pay into tills, into the Loop tills. We also provide a Visa card to that account. You're also able to get credit, and which is the conversation of today. So we have various forms of credit. We have term loans, we have overdraft facility, and most importantly, our Loop Flex, which is basically our buy now, pay later offering. You're able to do savings. You're also able to do investments. And exciting also, which is also one of the partnerships that we have with Samsung, is we offer deals marketplace. So basically, we work with the Samsung distributors and such kind of clients, merchants, and then we strike deals with them for our clients. So you're actually able to come in and purchase something at a deal. So how are we actually participating in this? And let's say what's the role that Loop is playing? So fast device financing, and we know worldwide that it's changed how consumers actually access premium technology. And for us to be able to give you that access, and what we're actually saying with the Samsung team is that you're able to. Sorry about that. is what we're seeing at the stats that were shared by Samsung last week is that 60 to 70% of the devices that are actually being bought in the market actually through device financing. So that's a key role for us. Like I said, Loop is a digital financial services provider. And through our digital finance wallet, which is a mobile wallet, we're able to create credit history, credit traction, as well as just transactional finance details. And then based on this, we're able to profile you, create a credit profile for you, and thereafter onward lend to you. Yeah. So that's a critical thing to speak to. And as you know, the stats are actually showing that we're expecting that the digital economy will actually contribute to 9.24% of the GDP in Kenya. So when I look at the partnership that we have with Samsung, I see it as a critical role. Yeah, that we're playing through digital transformation, enabling people to have access to devices, and as well as economic growth for the bigger economy.
Yeah. So one of the things that we learned last week as well during the launch is that there are various financing possibilities that are available on the pre-order period, which I believe is running till some point in February.
Yeah.
Maybe you can tell us a little bit more about what Loop is doing in that context around the pre-ordering period as well.
Okay. So as Loop, as we've said before, we've committed ourselves to give every customer that's purchasing through Loop the Samsung S25 Series a 10% cashback, which with a ceiling of up to 5,000 shillings. And the beauty of it is, if you cannot raise the cash fully, then the BNPL comes in. And the sweetener that we brought to the deal is, even if you're doing buy now, pay later, you'll still get your 5% cash back. Yeah.
Wow. And are you seeing, like, when it comes to buying Samsung devices and so forth right now, what's the general uptick you're seeing with the financing options available?
So what we're seeing is people are moving to more smartphone driven. They want to actually be able to use their smartphones to actually operate their entire life. So I want to run business on my phone. I want to run my personal life. I want to run my schedules. So that's the trend that we're actually seeing. And people are pushing more to see how can we enable, or rather, how can we access the smartphones. And so for Loop, the role that we're playing in that is basically bridging that affordability gap as well as access to that financing.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Yeah. So, Evelyne, I'd like to come back to you. Maybe let's talk about pricing. The devices look fantastic. They look awesome. What do they cost?
So even before I talk about what they cost, we also have a deal with some sweetener to this for the pre-order period.
Okay.
So for this period until 16th of February, if you do pre-order in any of our stores, you're able to get double the storage.
Oh,
okay.
Well,
so
double.
What that means is if you come to look for a 256 GB phone, right, you're able to get it at the price of a 128 GB phone, right? If you want to get a 512 GB, you get it at the price of 120 of the 256. Right,
okay.
So basically double the storage. What that does is that it gives you a price advantage of up to $94. Right,
wow.
Which is quite significant. So if you combine that with the cashback, with the buy, really there is no excuse for you. It's a fantastic deal. Yeah. It's the best deal you could get in the market, really.
And I think one of the things that we need to also emphasize is that when you're sourcing through these partnerships and relationships, you're buying a legit version of the phone for this market, correct?
Exactly.
Maybe tell us a little bit more about that as well.
Yeah, and this is important for me to say. It's really important that you buy your phones at accredited Samsung dealer. The reason for that is because we do have a Samsung Care program that then is able to take care of your phone and give you warranty for 2 years. It gives you screen cover. You can imagine buying one of these phones and it drops and your screen,
It's the price of the phone itself.
It's the price of the phone itself, right? So it's really, really important to do that. If you are buying a phone, please ask to make sure that you get a Samsung Care Plus activated. And this is how you know whether you have an authentic phone or not. If they're not able to do that and give you evidence of that, then you would know that you're probably not in the right store.
Wow.
It's very important. Yeah.
So coming back again, I mean, you've talked about the benefits, you've talked about the double the space, you've talked about cashbacks. What are these numbers? What do people expect to pay for the different ones?
So the phones will range, we have 3 different specs, as we said. We have the Ultra, and really that's the cream of phones. Forgive me for that. Then we have the Plus.
Yes.
And then we have the base, right? So for the base, it starts from around 116,000 shillings.
Yes.
All the way up to 180 shillings. Yeah.
Across the board. Okay.
Across the board. But during this period, it's down up to 172. That's why you need to get it now. Yeah. Yeah, after 16th, we are back on to 188,000 shillings.
Wow.
Yes.
So ultimately, what we're saying is that, it's accessible. You've got financing options. You've got all these benefits. Better for you to buy pre-order. You get your Samsung Care capabilities. And what can we expect also going forward? In terms of what can we expect from Samsung in terms of other possibilities and things that we can do as part of having the S25s.
So AI is then now going to transcend into not just what you have on your hand, but in your home as well. So you can expect to start having a smart home, in cases where your devices are integrated to your full lifestyle, really. So that's what you can expect going forward. And with S25, there's already an AI platform that allows for that integration with most of the Samsung devices that we have, right? Whether that be your watch, whether that be your TV, whether that be a smart fridge that you have. So you more and more you'll get to find that we have this integration that then allows you to live your life, much more intuitively and easily and conveniently for the things that you do on routine basis. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'd like to come back to you in terms of just, I think there's one other aspect we discussed last week when we were having the launch, which was, what is Loop doing around kind of maybe providing financial education, supporting particularly the young people who might be investing in these wonderful devices.
Yeah.
How are we preparing them for the world of financing and, buy now, pay later so that they can be responsible, borrowers, but also people who, are able to get the full benefit of these opportunities?
Yeah, so that's something that's close to our hearts. We really want to ensure that we're doing responsible lending in the markets that we operate in. And as far as buy now, pay later, the BNPL proposition that we're discussing today is customer education. We do believe once a customer has the understanding of exactly what they're getting themselves into, then they're able to make informed decision. The other thing is we have a call center. In the Samsung distributor stores, we'll actually have our people in store to actually talk you through the entire process so that then you're making an informed decision. Thereafter, we have the backup of call center, which is 24 hours. And then once you've signed up, we're able to send you an email that actually tells you what exactly you've gotten yourself into. And we give you numbers that you can reach out to in case you need more clarification. The other thing that, we pride ourselves is ethical standards. Of lending. We are not just preying, predatory lending in this market. We want to ensure that we're also being responsible. I think just ease of reach of the entire team in case you have any queries. And again, we have risk-based pricing now. And that's something that we're really happy about because then we're able to actually explain to you what it means when you keep a good credit history. And that becomes responsible because in the end, if you have a good credit history, you're actually able to get, bigger ticket sizes with us or with other lenders in the market. So that's how we're actually ensuring that there's good understanding of exactly what the customers are getting themselves into.
And maybe just for the clarity of our audience, is the financing just for the S25? Does it cascade across all Samsung devices? Can I get it for buds? Can I get it for the watches? What is the arrangement that you have with Samsung?
It's any product that Evelyne's people, Samsung distributors have in store that you can actually go in and enjoy the cashback. So please visit the stores now and enjoy it. Thanks.
So coming back to this S25 Ultra, because, I had the S24 last year, I didn't get to keep it. I'm still kind of wincing about that. But, I'm looking at the S25 Ultra. I also happen to be a Loop customer.
Oh, good.
I was one of your first customers, I believe, when you launched.
Oh,
so are you trying to tell me right now,
yes,
if I, approach Loop or I go to one of the Samsung stores, I give evidence of my Loop, and the fact that I'm a Loop customer, I will be able to walk out with we'll be able to pre-order the S25 Ultra? Is that what you're telling me?
Yes, certainly. That's exactly what I'm communicating. The entire Samsung range is actually available to you as a Loop customer through the partnership that we have. So you'll get a 10% cashback, a ceiling of 5,000 shillings. Of course, you must be our customer, not just Moses who's our customer, but you basically just need to go into the Play Store, download the app, and you're good to go.
Yeah, I have the app and everything. So it's good to know that I could potentially be a beneficiary of this. I'd like to come back to you as we sort of come to the end of our conversation. I think one of the things that many people are concerned about is the area of sustainability. And we know that Samsung, especially even when I've gone through various models you've launched in the recent years, you notice that the boxes are getting smaller, things are getting more compact.
That's true.
There's a very clear intentional effort to be more sustainable, but maybe you can tell us a little bit more on a more holistic basis. What is Samsung doing about sustainability?
Yeah, so we're big on sustainability, and I think that's important for for future generations, so to speak. One of the things that we're doing is, if you look at the cover of the back of these phones, we have used some of the recycled material from past models that we've had, right? And you're right, when it comes to shipping and taking things across the world, then we're very cautious about how much paper are you using, how much packaging do you need? Do you need a charger head every time you get a phone, for example? How many do you have in your house right now? There could be
Those
thousands
drawers,
of
all
them.
those
Yeah,
cables.
exactly.
Yeah.
So it's just thinking about the small things and how can we contribute to, to the greater good of the next generation by making sure that we take care of the resources that we have right now. So we're very big on that.
Another thing I've noticed, as somebody who's been using, Galaxy I, especially on the devices I use from Samsung, is, have you heard anything from the market in terms of how it's enabling or empowering people? Because an example for me is that I go into meetings now, I turn on my recording, I get a transcript on my phone. And then by the end of the meeting, of course, I ask permission for the people attending the meeting if I can do this. I send them the meeting notes almost immediately. But are you seeing any, with the enablement of Galaxy I, have you had any stories or anecdotes like this? I don't know how you're seeing users actually benefiting from elements like Galaxy AI.
The stories have been numerous, and Moses, maybe we should start, a podcast that just talks about these stories. They've been numerous. We've seen people talk about that. Taking minutes in meetings has been a big one for most of our customers, because the kind of customer that would buy this phone wants to be able to live life effortlessly, right? So the S25 brings this particular feature to a different level altogether. I know right now you go into meetings, you're able to record, you get the transcript, you get the summary, but guess what? You could also send it to somebody.
Immediately.
Right? Immediately. Right? Yeah. You could do this while you're in the gym, Moses. Right? Have your buds on. It's taking, you're able to speak, you're able to have your phone record that and send immediately. Right? So we've had many, many stories of people talking about how these AI phones are actually changing their lives. If I talk about content creation, for example, yeah, we've had many of the young people being able to pick videos, edit them, effortlessly and really good quality. The S25 is on a totally different level when it comes to picking videos and content and being able to manipulate that. There isn't a phone that would match this anywhere in the world. So we've seen those stories, and what's exciting about it is that it's everyday use cases. It's not anything that's completely out there and we just talk about AI. It's how does it help me do what it is that I need to do for the day.
Which is what I like to call practical AI.
Practical AI.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Incidentally, I don't know whether this is also another case, but I genuinely think when I use the AI features, especially people living with disabilities, for instance.
Yes.
I think that the possibilities are enormous. The fact that you can use, Galaxy AI to do so much more, isn't it?
True.
Yeah.
Now we have voice prompts. You don't really have to, just press the phone, ask what it is that you need to do, in a very contextual way, right? Natural speech. Press on the phone, ask what it is that you need, and it will give you output, and then do more than just that, right?
Yeah.
So it's really an age where we sort of, this gap that we have is narrowed, and now anybody can communicate and do work from any part of the world, really, and then do it really well.
Yeah. Maybe a question around the trend of financing. I think when we attended the media event last week, I think there was a remark made that I think up to 70% of the Samsung devices, especially the lower end, are being financed today in Kenya. And I'd maybe like to hear your thoughts around this trend, the fact that a lot of people are now financing as opposed to buying outright. And I think what it's also doing is possibly opening it up so that people who traditionally may not have been able to access these devices can. And again, not just the top of the line, but really, the mid-tier and even the lower devices. Maybe you have a comment around the importance of financing to make that possibility for people.
Yeah, no, definitely. We do have a comment to that statement. Like I said in the media briefing last week, his COVID changed our lives. And we realized that, first of all, we don't have to be in office to make money. And what that means is you need a device that can actually enable you to actually live your life and make money. And so that's why you'll find that 70% of the devices are actually to purchase phones, but they're not buying the really lower end. It's more of the middle end. So you're talking about the range of $200, $300. That's what they're purchasing. And it's because you want a device that you can actually make use of. Now, when Evelyne speaks to the S25 series and the AI capabilities on it, I think everyone has a use case to relate to what it can do for you. And that's how the device financing comes into play. You start thinking, okay, I have this amount of money. Who can help me fill in that gap that I don't have to save, over 12 months for me to be able to purchase that particular device? And so I will look, I have this much cash because, again, I have my monthly commitments that I need to meet. But if I'm able to get a device financing facility, and with Loop, you're able to get flexible payments, so a good, tenure that makes sense to you, you then are able to upgrade and get a device that you can use to do many, many other things. So that's how we look at it at Loop. The reason as to why the device financing is actually on an upward trend in this market. And as you know, the digital penetration in Kenya is quite high.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I'd say maybe only 10% of the people in this country are not using digital in some way or means or form. So, and then again, education levels have actually improved over time. The free education agenda really did assist to get a lot of Kenyans educated. And what does that do? It opens your mind in terms of how you can play around with technology. So you want a device that you can actually do so much with. I mean, my daughter is 13, 14, and she has a device. Of course, controlled access, but you can see she does a lot with it. When she gets that 2 hours over the weekend. Yeah. So, yeah.
No, I think it's fantastic because it's sort of breaking those barriers, and then when you have a decent enough phone, a good Samsung phone, it allows you to create content, allows you to communicate, engage, and then add the AI capabilities, and the whole world really opens up. So as we come to the end of our conversation, Evelyne, I'd wonder maybe you would want to share any last comments or thoughts with our audience that you think might be important, especially in the context of the S25, the series, and more importantly, the way forward for Samsung in the region.
Well, for anyone who's listening, I think I would say if you ever needed to find a companion, a human companion, then the S25 is that. That's it. They will remind you of the things that you need to do, suggest new things for you to do, make your playtime even that much more interesting. So the time is now. And with Loop, I think I don't know why you wouldn't have the device with you as they trickle in by mid-February.
And especially as the pre-order period with all the extra perks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The pre-order period is here, and beyond February 16th, this goes away. So please treat your Valentine. This is the time.
I like that.
This is the time. Just visit any one of our Samsung shops, and you'll get to see the different options that we have on this.
Great. Thank you so much for that.
So thanks, Moses. My last remark is for us as at Loop, we're looking at this partnership and saying that, owning the latest tech is no longer a dream. We're making it a reality. So last call for action is basically just download the Loop app, go into any Samsung distributor store. You'll meet our team on ground. We're happy to assist you to onboard, and then thereafter quickly underwrite you and give you access to the limit that you're entitled to, and a 10% cashback with up to 5,000 shillings. Thanks.
Great. Thank you so much, Catherine. So there you have it. The Samsung Galaxy S25 is now here. Just a few more weeks remain before the pre-order period comes to an end. All sorts of benefits and perks for you to order. But remember, this is a device that is pushing the envelope when it comes to AI capabilities. Last year, we saw the launch of Galaxy AI with the S24. In S25, we see that there's the companion AI, which becomes your personal assistant, powering up your life, helping you sort out your lifestyle and your work. But more importantly, we see Samsung continuing to lead the way in providing incredible devices that become part of our lifestyle and add value to all the things that we do. Thank you for joining us once again on the Pure Digital Passion Podcast with me, Moses Kemibaro. We'll catch you in the next one.